There is a rift inside every man. Not always visible. Sometimes it hides behind laughter, behind duty, behind the mask of loyalty. A hollow place where longing echoes. Men do not cheat because they begin with unfaith. They cheat because somewhere, the self, unspoken, starved, begins to demand more presence, more belonging, more recognition than has been given. They say betrayal is choice. Yes. But before the choice, there is desertion. Desertion of soul by silence. Desertion of heart by neglect. A man may stay beside a woman, sleep beside her, share meals, routines, shared memories. Yet something inside fades. Not because he stops loving entirely, but because love itself becomes a ritual, a habit, an expectation without flame. He feels unseen. He feels unheard. He feels that what he is losing is not the other, but himself. Carl Jung spoke of wounding. What is not integrated becomes shadow. The denied yearning becomes shadow. The unspoken need, the unloved longing, the emotion that is judged and silenced, all find refuge in the shadow. Cheating becomes a symptom of separation. It is never just about the body. It is about the soul reaching outward, seeking connection that has become scarce at home. Alan Watts would remind us that love and intimacy are not tasks to be completed, but dances to be entered. When the dance stops, the silence between steps expands. When the music fades, even slightly, the dancer may wander. Not out of malice, but out of missing vibration. The rift begins in small things. A look that is no longer given. A touch that becomes rare. A question that goes unasked. A secret held, not shared. He begins to map his distance. Little spaces grow. Walls build themselves without bricks. And the thirst grows. The hunger for something not routine. Something that pulses. Something unpredictable. Rejection, or its echo, often lies here. Not of the partner rejecting, but of the partner allowing rejection through omission. The silent turning away. The failure to see. Cheating is sometimes the voice of that neglected self, crying for recognition. Even in betrayal, there is longing. A wounded heart asking, "Am I worthy of being seen?" Feel the weight of that question. Stand in the dark room of it. Because once a man feels deeply unseen, once he believes the light he carries is ignored, no fortress of promise holds him. The promise of fidelity, the vow of faith. These are great things, but they cannot stand on a foundation of shadow and silence. And so he leaves. Not always with malice. Sometimes with sorrow. Sometimes with more regret than resolve. He cheats. That word, betrayal, echoes. But beneath it lies complexity. Lies loneliness. Lies disconnection. Lies unmet need. He cheats not always because he wanted to harm, but because something inside of him was harming. The truth is this: men are not faithful because love is guaranteed. They are faithful when they see themselves in the mirror of the relationship. When their feeling matters. When their depth, dark, beautiful, messy, is permitted. When kindness still surprises. When sacrifice still stirs. When shared silence is more than tolerable, it is precious. Cheating also carries guilt, shame, fragmentation. After the act, he returns partially. Parts of himself are lost. Because fidelity, when broken, does not break only trust, it fractures identity. He may lie, he may hide, he may deny. He may rationalize. He may even love deeply. Yet the rift remains. Time ages the wound. The memory of betrayal stretches like a shadow that never fully lets go. But there is no full reconstruction. Only fragments. Only echoes. And sometimes, in the darkest nights, when no sleep comes, these echoes demand reckoning. Every betrayal begins with silence. Not the silence between two people, but the silence within one of them. The silence where something essential once lived. A truth. A tenderness. A song. And when that silence grows, it becomes unbearable. Because men, though they rarely say it, fear emptiness more than death. They fear the hollow space where love used to echo. A man does not seek another body merely for pleasure. He seeks to feel alive again. To feel seen, felt, mirrored. To feel the warmth of recognition. Not all love dies in anger. Some loves simply starve. And when a man cheats, he often carries this hunger with shame. Like a secret illness he cannot name. Because the world only allows him to be strong. Never lost. Strength. That beautiful, dangerous illusion. He learns to stand tall. To protect, to provide, to never falter. But inside he is trembling. Because to love, truly, is to risk powerlessness. To love is to let another see your unguarded center. And when that center is dismissed, ignored, or met with indifference, the man feels himself vanish. So he reaches outward, not for conquest, but for confirmation that he still exists. Jung wrote that every act of infidelity is a dialogue between the conscious and the shadow. The conscious says, I am loyal. The shadow whispers, I am starving. And when the shadow grows too hungry, it will eat through the walls of discipline. It will consume morality and call it liberation. But after the feast, only emptiness remains, because desire satisfied by deceit does not nourish the soul. It only deepens the void. Still, there is something profoundly human in that fall. The moment when man breaks his own promise and finally sees his reflection, not as a saint, but as a creature capable of darkness. That moment, painful as it is the beginning of wisdom, because to know oneself is to know the beast within, to see it not as enemy, but as part of the whole. Alan Watts said that guilt is the mind's refusal to accept what has already happened. We cannot undo our betrayals, but we can understand them. And understanding, when it is deep enough, becomes forgiveness. Not forgiveness as an act of forgetting, but as a quiet acknowledgement. I too am flawed. I too am capable of harm. And yet I am still worthy of love. Forgiveness, then, is not given to the other first. It is given to the self. Because no one carries shame longer than the betrayer. No one rehearses the memory more often. No one rewrites the story 1,000 times in their head. He becomes both the criminal and the jailer. Both the wound and the hand that reopens it. In the stillness after confession, a strange peace can appear. Not the peace of being forgiven, but the peace of finally being honest. He looks into her eyes, sees pain, disappointment, distance, but also a reflection of his own humanity. Fragile, incomplete, still searching. And in that moment, he realizes what he sought in another was never sex, nor thrill, nor escape. It was himself. He betrayed not her, but his own potential for wholeness. He abandoned the part of him that once believed love could be sacred. And now, standing among the ruins, he understands. You cannot cheat on the truth. The truth waits silently, like an old friend at the door. It will welcome you when you are ready to stop running. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Sometimes love ends. Sometimes two souls outgrow each other's silence. But if the lesson is seen, if the darkness is met without denial, then the man is no longer divided. He may walk alone, but at least he walks whole. Because there is a form of redemption That does not need the other's approval. It lives in the way one breathes after sorrow, the way one looks at the world. Humbled, quiet, alive again. The man who has faced his own infidelity has seen what he is capable of, but also what he can transform. He no longer chases love. He honors it. He no longer fears rejection. He listens to it. He no longer hides his weakness. He speaks from it. In the end, infidelity is not the destruction of love. It is the revelation of its limits. And sometimes, those limits become the doorway to truth. Love is not possession. It is recognition. And when recognition fades, the soul will wander until it finds itself again. To betray another is to begin the long road home. Through remorse, through guilt, through emptiness. Until, one quiet morning, you look at your reflection and whisper, "I see you again." And that, perhaps, is all the forgiveness the soul ever needed. There is a silence that comes after the storm. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of truth accepted. He sits alone. No one waits for him now. No voice calls from another room. The house has become an echo chamber of what was, of what could have been. And yet, for the first time in years, he is not afraid of the echo. In that stillness, he begins to feel something ancient beneath the noise. A pulse. The same pulse that beats in every creature that ever loved and ever lost. It is the rhythm of becoming, the slow movement of the soul, returning to its center. The man remembers his father, the quiet evenings when nothing was said, but everything was understood. He remembers how the old man stared out the window, as if searching for something that had no name. Perhaps he, too, once loved and failed. Perhaps all men do. Perhaps this is the unspoken inheritance. The knowledge that love is both a wound and a mirror, and that to carry it is to bleed and to grow. At the same time, he closes his eyes. The mind wanders. Not to her. Not to the betrayal. But to the boy he once was. The boy who believed love was pure, simple, eternal. Who thought being loved would save him. He smiles gently, almost sadly. Because now he understands. No one can save you from yourself. Love can hold you for a while, but it cannot build your foundation. That work belongs to the soul alone. In the philosophy of Jung, the self is not a destination. It is a reconciliation between light and dark, between the child who longs to be loved and the adult who has learned to love without condition. It is the moment you stop asking others to complete you. You see that they were never mirrors, only windows. Through them, you glimpsed your own unfinished reflection. Alan Watts once said, "The meaning of life is just to be alive, not to be perfect, not to be admired, not even to be forgiven, but to exist, fully, presently, without resistance." And this man, who once ran from himself, through the arms of another, now sits in that stillness, and feels, for the first time, the beauty of being. No chasing, no hiding, just breath, just the hum of existence, returning to itself. Time, he learns, does not heal. It reveals. It shows what the wound was meant to teach. It shows that pain, when held long enough, transforms into wisdom, and wisdom, when carried with humility, becomes love again. A quieter love, a love that asks for nothing. He walks by the sea, waves folding over waves, each one erasing the last. He wonders if that is what forgiveness really is. Not erasing memory, but allowing life to wash over it. until the sharpness fades. He feels small, but not insignificant. He feels mortal, but alive. The horizon stretches endlessly before him, a line between what was and what will be, and he realizes he does not need to cross it. He only needs to stand here and watch. One day, perhaps years later, he will love again, but not from hunger, not from fear, not from the need to be seen. He will love as one who has looked into his own darkness and made peace with it. He will love gently, as one who knows the cost of forgetting oneself. He will love truthfully, without disguise, without the desperate hope that it will last forever. Because love does not need forever. It needs presence. And presence, that is eternity enough. The story ends not with reunion, but with awakening. He walks home. The same house. The same silence. But something has changed. Inside, the shadow no longer demands attention. It has been seen, integrated, respected. He is no longer at war with himself. And in that peace, there is a freedom deeper than forgiveness. He sits by the window, watching the light fade. For the first time, he does not wish it to stay. He understands. Everything that leaves returns in another form. Even love, even loss, even him. Perhaps this is the secret redemption of men. Not that they stop betraying, but that they finally understand what it means to be human. Fragile, fallible, and yet endlessly capable of light. And in that understanding, he whispers, not to her, not to anyone, but to the quiet within. I forgive you. I forgive me. I am home now.